Hey guys, this is Beardsley. I'm here at one of our properties down in Houston. As you can see, we're beautifully right on the water. This is a very picturesque property that we are really excited to be bringing into our portfolio. But the topic of today's video is actually more broadly about pipeline, and specifically about pipeline meetings. So this is something that, like many of us, have been doing for a long time, which is just sourcing deals, bringing deals into your pipeline, determining what the next steps are, passing on them, pursuing them further. And for us, it's all about trying to find a more efficient way to do this, so that way we stay on top of the deal flow that we have and make sure that no deals slip through the cracks. That's always a very frustrating thing that we try to avoid at all costs. And the ways that deals can slip through the cracks are: you can be too slow, where the deal might have been emailed to you a couple weeks ago or a week ago, and somebody just jumped on it faster than you. Or even worse, you might have just not seen it at all. The broker, whoever is sending you the deal, just didn't even think to send it to you because you're not top of mind. And that's a kind of a different conversation of making sure that you're top of mind with the brokers. And there's really no easy way to do that. It takes repetition. It takes time in the market, face time in the market, owning deals in the market, performing. So when you do win an LOI, you're easy to work with as far as getting the property under contract, and through the due diligence process, and finally to closing, right? It's all about, at the end of the day, it's all about closing. So that's how brokers get paid. That's how the world keeps on turning. So that's a separate issue about broker relationships and getting deals. But aside from that, the specific pipeline meeting that I want to focus on is about getting more organized. So what we've done in the past is we've had these KPI trackers where we tracked certain metrics that we thought were important as far as our pipeline. And those things are simple. How many deals are we sourcing? How many deals did we source last week? How many deals did we offer on? How many best and finals did we get invited into? Right? Tracking all that on a week-over-week basis is really helpful to understand what your hit rate is, and therefore how many deals it takes per week, per month, per year to hit your acquisition goals. And so if you're not doing that currently, that's definitely the first step, is just starting to build up that data, so that way you actually have a more data-driven approach towards achieving your goals. Another big component of the KPIs that we're going to be re-implementing into our pipeline process is actually focusing on relationships and talking to brokers. So, there's some people that think that it's necessary to talk to brokers once a month. Other people think it's more optimal more frequently. And I'm not really sure what the right answer is. We probably are somewhere, but around once every 2 weeks, I'm guessing. So systematizing that and actually tracking that to make sure, oh wow, we haven't talked to this person in a month. I wonder what they're up to. I wonder if they have a new opportunity, or maybe they have a new take on the market, or something is about to hit the market. So that's really important, and getting intentional. And then from a organizational standpoint, that's helpful, because if you are actually managing an acquisitions team, then you actually have right there in plain view the outreach and the communication that's occurring with your team and the brokers that you're trying to source deals from. And that way you can identify if there's a break in the system, right? Are we not doing well in our acquisitions business because we're not sourcing enough deals? And is that because we're not talking to enough brokers, or are we not in the right markets? Or is it some issue later down in the pipeline process, right? Maybe your underwriting is not appropriate for the market and you're missing out on deals, or you're just missing the boat on something else. So that's the importance of the pipeline situation, and especially the KPIs, which we're currently in the process of revamping, building a new worksheet. We'll probably be able to share it with people. So who knows, we might be having a full webinar talking about this process. I'm sure Charles is very happy about that. So that's the KPI process. But now let's actually focus on the deals themselves. So one thing we noticed in the pipeline calls is we have our whole team on the call, and it's not necessarily the most convenient time to dive in deep on deals and get into full discussion, right? Because there are people on the call that just don't really want to sit around and listen to you go through the nitty-gritty on a deal when it might not be important. So that's an issue that we were noticing, and we tried to cut back on that. But at the same time, sometimes you actually do need to have those thorough conversations and really talk a deal out. Currently do that, obviously, but it's just ad hoc. It's whenever the deal is on the table and whenever there's free time. But we've decided that it's not really the best time for the pipeline. Pipeline is really best to talk about just summary of active deals, what's happening, what deals need action, or do we have a deal under contract that needs some sort of next thing to get it down to the next step, or is it a property that is in due diligence, we need to prep for DD, and all sorts of things. So the pipeline, I'd say, is best, the pipeline call or meeting is best suited for active deals that you don't really need to brainstorm and have a discussion about. And that brings me to the investment committee process. And so instead of, like I said, having these nitty-gritty discussions at the pipeline call, which is also a shorter call, right? You could eat up a whole 30-minute call by just kind of looking through the financials of a deal. Really that's better suited for an investment committee. And so up to this point, we've never really had a formal investment committee, but that's something that we're working on getting in place now, which having all the knowledgeable parties that can bring their experience and point of view to an investment opportunity. And of course, this is way before it's under LOI, before it's being shown to external investors. And this pipeline call will be the venue where it might be an hour-long call, it might be a 2-hour-long call, and that's the opportunity for us to really dive deep and focus on maybe 1, 2, 3 deals and really make some serious decisions about. And the nice thing about having an investment committee and a pipeline is you can stagger them, have one early in the week, one later in the week, and so that way you're able to touch your deal flow as a group at least twice a week. And that's powerful because it's all about speed, and you don't want to have to tell a broker, they're seeking feedback on a deal, and you say, oh, I'm sorry, but our investment committee's next Wednesday, so I'll get back to you on Thursday, right? It's better to say, oh yeah, great, we've got the deal now, we'll be able to give you feedback in just a couple days or maybe that day. Speed is very important to us. So I think this will help with speed and being more thorough. So I hope you like these thoughts about our pipeline call process and the general sourcing process, and then adding on the investment committee. Would love to hear from you guys how you run your pipeline process. This is something that's absolutely a work in progress for us. So it would be great to get your feedback. Thanks for watching.